Swivl Sessions, interviews with field service entrepreneurs. Get insights and strategies from those who took the leap and risked it all to start their own home service companies. Very inspiring talk with Melinda Fields of North Georgia Cleaning Services. Jeremy, what do you got?
She started this business, I don't want to say out of desperation, but she had $5 in her bank account and two young daughters. And she said, never tell yourself no. And she didn't. And now she's saying she's successful, and she's saying, just put your pants on and do it, because now she's the old pro at it. So I love it. She's doing a great job.
Being raised by a single mother, I have such an admiration for those that realize, okay, I've got to get out and I want to make this just a better life. And I think she said, nothing is stopping you but you to make that change. And that was just so good to hear. She's got a great work ethic, great entrepreneurial work ethic. I mean, she's looking at all things to do, but she does them well, and we enjoyed talking with her. So Melinda Fields, North Georgia Cleaning Services. Enjoy the show. All right, welcome to Swivl Sessions, where we dive headfirst into the world of field service entrepreneurship. Now, before we get to we've got a great guest today, and before we get to her, we've got to unfortunately hear from the hosts. First, there's Jeremy. He's reached a certain stage in his life, Melinda, where he's worried about college tuition. He's got a kid about to leave for college. So he's wondering where all the money's going. He's thinking about having a mortgage off his house just to pay for those two college tuitions that he's got brewing. But the good news is estate sales are still free, Jeremy. So,
well, thank
Melinda
you.
Meet Jeremy.
They're actually, hi, Melinda. They're actually not free, but they're
That's
reals.
True.
Melinda, I'd like you to introduce the one and only Rob. He's an operations expert in home services with a deep understanding of how businesses run efficiently. He has a sharp eye for costing jobs, ensuring accuracy and profitability. Ironically, though, he values productivity. The treadmill in his office remains the least used machine in the building.
Well said.
And that's Rob.
Not true. I used it 2 days in a row. All right, that was almost funny. So next, meet Tyson, our customer experience guru, fresh off buying a new condo right before last week's rain decided to flood it out. Even his living space can't escape
Cold.
his knack for stirring up a little chaos. Tyson, take it away.
It's a good thing Fong doesn't do home repairs too. This is the mechanic that fixes my car, Melinda. He gets a lot of my money
every month.
Well, today we're excited to introduce Melinda Fields. She is the owner of North Georgia Cleaning Services, and it's a residential business cleaning service based out of Woodstock. Apart from running a successful cleaning business, she's also got about 11 other side businesses and hustles and interests, and we are really looking forward to hearing about all of them. So, Melinda, welcome to Swivl Sessions. How are things going up there in Woodstock?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. They're going great. I'm so blessed. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Good to hear. Melinda, so I'd like to start it off with hearing about your background. So for people who know nothing about you, like what were you doing before started this company that we're here discussing?
So I have my nursing degree. I have a CNA, LPN, and RN, and I also have an early childhood education degree. I've used both degrees very minimally. And before I decided to start my business, I was working at the post office.
Where did you get your nursing degree? Just real quick. Sorry to jump in there.
Woodruff Medical.
Okay.
What do you think about the Postal Service at this point? Isn't it a complete mess right now?
Or what do you think
It
of the
really
term
is.
going postal? I've never talked to someone who worked at the Postal Service.
You know what's so funny is you can literally get fired for saying that.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, they take that so seriously.
It's so in the lexicon too.
It's
So
kind of like being on an
Yeah.
airplane and talking about bombs.
Yeah, bad idea.
Yeah, the Postal Service actually runs in my family. A lot of my aunts and uncles and cousins, they all work for the post office.
So were you delivering?
Yes.
So
Wow.
rain, snow.
nice.
I mean, is that
It's
really like
crazy.
the motto?
No, it really is.
That's great.
Yeah.
There was a time when the mailman literally was who kids
A
grew
male
up
woman
with,
or
or mailwoman, sorry.
Right.
But I
Yes.
mean, when my mother's from a small town near Jefferson or near Athens, and it was the same guy for like 35, 40 years.
Yeah.
They've lost
Deborah,
that.
my mail carrier. I've been in my home now for 9 years, and she's been my mail carrier. I love her to death. Yeah.
And have you ever been attacked by a dog? I'm sure.
No,
Yeah.
I would take treats with me, and they were very friendly. I had one dog that came to my LLV. That's what the postal vehicle is called. And he would come up and get the mail because his owner was a paraplegic. And he would come get the mail and take it to him.
That's cool.
awesome.
That's pretty
It's
awesome.
amazing how you can
That's
train
great.
dogs.
Yeah, it is.
So, what was the decision to get into owning your own business? How did you reach that point, or was there a specific moment that made you decide to work for yourself?
So, long story short, I got out of a bad relationship when my daughter was 1. And when I left when he went to work. And I moved in with a best friend. And at that time, like, I had nothing because I literally left with nothing. And so my girls are 9 years apart. And I'm like, okay, I have a 1-year-old and I have a 10-year-old and myself. What am I going to do? I'm living in this, 2-bedroom home with my best friend. And this just isn't going to cut it because of, renting rates. And I mean, it's so expensive to live. And I'm like, I can't do this on my own. I can't do this. And then I went to bed that night and I was like, you know what? A good friend of mine, she's like, Melinda, you're so detail oriented. You clean so well. You organize so well. Everything you touch turns to gold. That is what she said to me one night. And it really stuck with me. And that night I just prayed and I was like, show me what I need to do. Like, how am I going to raise my children by myself? And I woke up the next morning and my phone rang and it was a friend of a friend. And she was like, hey, the lady that I know that cleans my house, like, her help just quit. And so she's really needing someone, and it paid very little. She's just a small business owner herself, which, bless her soul, she passed away. But so I'm like, okay, well, I never thought about cleaning a house before. Is that really a thing? And so I went, and I mean, just like the feedback from the customers is what really validated me. And they were just like, wow, this is amazing. And I fell in love with it. And I guess I worked with her maybe 3 months, and I'm like, I'm going to do it. Like, this $50 a day is not going to pay nothing. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I put it in God's hands. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I took on my first client and it was downhill from there. By the end of the 3rd month, I had 7 clients under my belt, weekly and bi-weekly.
Awesome.
And word of mouth, like, they just kept saying, oh my gosh, she's amazing. She does this, she does that. And it trickled from there. And I am so blessed.
Good to hear.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I guess in your business, a lot of it is about trust, and
It is.
that's probably where you kind of catch fire on the referral side of things, I would assume. Yeah.
That is right.
tell
Because you're
me this.
trusting someone with your home.
Yeah,
You're trusting
absolutely.
someone with everything.
And not just like your home, like every nook and cranny of your home,
That's
which
right.
you need to be able to trust. I would think, like, in your business, that has to be the number one thing.
Yep.
Um,
We know more about your home than you do.
I believe it.
Oh,
I
no.
totally believe
I
it.
have customers calling me all the time. Melinda, do you know where this black button up is with a pocket on the right side? Yes, I
Gosh.
do. It's in your closet,
That's
4th
great.
shirt down.
That's great.
So tell me this. So I always like to talk to entrepreneurs like you, Melinda, about expectations, right? So
Mhm.
before you jump ship, and I guess you jumped out of a unique position, but before you started your business, you had some concepts, some ideas about what you'd be getting into, right? Expectations.
Yes.
How were those expectations met? And what were some of those unforeseen hurdles after you started that maybe you didn't see that might have given you some challenges?
My expectations were always, do right by my customers, go above and beyond, no matter the price. If someone pays me, just, figuratively speaking, if someone pays me $50 a week or someone pays me $100 a week, I'm going to treat them both the same. My expectations of myself are very high, very high. I met them all, far just above and beyond.
So what about in terms of, like, a lot of people go into business thinking that, well, now I'm going to have time on my hands, and I'm going to have so much money, it's going to be, I'll be bathing in cash, or,
Yeah.
Did you have any of those expectations that weren't met?
Not really. I did have an expectation for myself that I wouldn't ever allow my business to take over me being a mom because I wanted to be a mom. And that's one thing about nursing. When my oldest was 1, I got called in her first Christmas. I got called in to work and I was like, this isn't for me. I want to be a mom. And so that's where the nursing just kind of drifted off because kudos to the nurses out there. But it did for a minute because, when you start your business, it's all about your business. It's about promoting and it's about getting your name out there and overachieving every goal that you do have for your business. But it does allowed me more time with my children.
That's awesome.
Priorities. Good priorities.
Yes.
Speaking of, I gotta
Go.
Gotta get going.
Melinda,
Good
great
luck.
talking to you. We're gonna edit this part out, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm bummed that
Good
I'm not
meeting
gonna
you,
hear the
Rob.
rest of the story. But I'll see it. I'll see it later on. You guys,
Come on.
We're crafty veterans, okay? I mean, really?
Yeah.
All right, we'll
All
see you
right.
tomorrow, maybe?
Appreciate you.
Okay. See ya.
Be in the office tomorrow morning. I will.
He
We're like
needed
a
some
family.
treadmill.
He's got it. That's God bless you.
All right.
All
So,
right, so we
get
left
back on
off
track.
we left off with expectations and
Yeah, I've got it.
and the hurdles. All right, cool.
Yeah, I want to jump in, Melinda, okay, so you get a lot of, in the beginning, I guess, some of your work from referrals. I'm sure that continues. So who is your customer base now? Is it commercial? Is it all residential? How big are you now? How many employees do you have? Those sorts of questions.
Two.
Okay. Okay.
Gosh.
Yep.
And then,
Okay,
your
two.
customer, I'm sorry, go right ahead
No,
on the
no, go
employees.
ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you about the customer base. I like to hammer out some basic questions so people will know more about your actual company and what's going on.
So, I'm a 80% residential, 20% business.
Okay. Okay. So you have some commercial
Yes.
business, and it's all reoccurring. So for the most part,
That's right.
right? Okay.
Yes. And I
Okay.
actually still have the very first customers that I ever started with. And
love
I've
that.
had
And
that
when?
business now 11 years.
11 years. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. And so 11 years in with North Georgia Cleaning Services or
Yes.
some iteration of it. Okay.
No.
Well, what are your revenues? Are you growing every year? Are you, or how is that looking
I think we lost
as
Jerry.
far as with the business?
Hey, you ducked out for about 4 seconds there, Jeremy.
You
when
guys
started
ducked out of
asking
me.
that question.
Okay, let me ask the question again. Rob usually asks the
Back.
question about business revenue. He's like the guru on all that. So I'll just go ahead and ask. What are your revenues growing every year? Are you meeting expectations as far as revenues? And you're
Yes,
adding more
absolutely.
customers and more employees? Not so much employees, but a lot more customers.
In the future, I do plan on adding more. I'm gonna have to,
Okay.
especially with what I transitioned into now.
Okay. And are you looking to expand your map of your service area? Have
I
you done
am.
that, and has that grown?
Yes.
And what is it? If you want to go ahead and tell us so people seeing this will know where you
Yeah,
operate.
we travel all over. We literally travel all over the state of Georgia. I have been
Okay.
asked, I've had a few customers that have moved out of state and they call me after they move and they're like, I can't find anyone like you. There's no one like you.
You're like part of the
So can you
family.
fly here?
That speaks
Yes,
volumes,
yes.
just that kind of, I mean, that's a connection. That's a true connection.
It is, yes.
That's kind of falls in the customer service category right there. And that
Yeah.
what we've learned from doing these podcasts, I mean, that will set you apart from a lot of other
Customer
people.
service is everything.
Answer the phone is what we always hear.
We had a big one
Yeah,
yesterday.
just answer
People
the
don't answer their
phone.
phone.
Gosh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also hiring people, because you have a way of doing things, and that's why you have the customers that you have and why they stay
Right.
with you. And a lot of people that are in your shoes that are successful, and they're successful because of what they do, are afraid to give that responsibility to other people because you're trusting other people with your reputation.
It's
So
not easy. It's
yeah,
not easy to
never
do,
is.
but you just have to find the right people.
Probably
That's
ones
right.
that aren't in that industry yet, that don't have an idea of doing things, and you can train them the way you want to train them.
Yes, yes. Because not everyone is detail oriented.
I'd say that's pretty
This
important.
business is not
Unless
for
they have
everybody.
meds for it.
Right. Yeah, no, this business is definitely not for everybody because you do have, you've got those clients that are, as long as they don't have a dusty house, they're good to go. Okay. And then you have those customers who their bed needs to be made specifically this way and their towels need to be folded specifically away. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to get people
I
to
could not
care.
do that. I'd be like,
Well, that kind of leads into, I guess, my next question, which is when we talk about technology and there's so many platforms or things that different, field service areas use, is there a cleaning service centric software? And do you put notes in there saying this about this customer or this about that? What do you use to kind of streamline your business?
Right now, it's just by text message.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
that's how you're
And
keeping track of your customers, just kind of in your contacts for the most part, that
yes.
kind of thing. Okay.
And that is, it's very confusing. Very confusing.
Well, it's tough to get to keep track of all that too because it's all on your plate. Yeah.
Right.
And so we might
If
have
you're
to have a
looking,
talk. Yeah, we might have to have a talk with you.
Yes. And I've been looking at your website and I am very intrigued.
Nice.
So, I mean, everything's at your fingertips.
yeah, there's a lot for you there for sure.
Yes.
It's good to have a CRM or that thing where you can put your contacts and your be able to send your invoices and get paid quicker, and it's just
Right.
it's something that just makes it a lot easier to have right there in front of you. And we have a website builder that does a website for you. So
Yeah, and if you're looking to expand, for sure you're going to need something at
Huge.
some point.
just to keep
Maybe
track
it's
of people.
maybe it's us, maybe it's not. We can edit this out, by the way. But
Yeah, well, yeah. We're not
we
gonna
always
put you on the
edit out
spot.
this.
No.
Mhm.
Well, then, so I guess kind of we've talked a little bit, but we like to talk about goals. And so, what is like the children? You have some children, and you're big into the family. So, what are your goals? What are Melinda's goals
So,
for the future, down the road, selling the business, keeping the business, passing it on to the kids? Like, what those kind of goals?
my daughter, passing it on to her, she actually just got her first customer. So that's where she is today. And so I'm so
Awesome.
proud of that. Yeah. So she's now 22.
I was about to say,
And
I had it in my head that she was still a child, but I
I
guess
thought she was like
yeah,
5.
yeah.
I
So
lost
wow,
track of the math.
nice.
yeah, no,
That's great.
my girls are 22 and 13.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great.
So my oldest is starting, that transition of taking over
You've got
because
both poles covered right there with teenage
right,
girls.
right, yes, and she is very detail oriented, so that's a good thing, and her customer seems to be very pleased. She's starting just with this one. Now, both of my girls have gone with me when they were younger and vacuumed and
Yeah.
done a few things, so they know some about the business. But
Giving
she's,
them a good
like I
work
said,
ethic
she's there
too.
now. Yes, yes, yes. And showing them that, you can do it. I did it. You can do it. Never tell
And
yourself
grow
no.
as
All
big
you
as you
can,
want to.
absolutely, absolutely. And I started with zero, literally like $5 in my bank account.
Now, how
So,
Incredible.
tech savvy is she into computers, or does she have a little bit more of a basic knowledge of a laptop or a
yeah, yeah.
okay,
She's an Apple girl. I am not.
nice. Well, we need
So
to when
she's
we
good on
talk,
that.
we need to get her on the phone too, so we can
Yes.
get together and I can share a screen and show you guys. It's incredibly simple, and a lot of people that have never used a software with their business, it's like clicks and whistles, and it's something that is very easy to use, and it's not really you're not really changing too much. It's just making you look a little bit more professional.
Right. Making everything a little easier.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Once you get it all
Yeah.
set up, you lay your foundation, then it's just like it just rolls.
Yep.
It'll
I'm
streamline
excited to
the
hear about all
business.
these other things you have going on. I know you were doing you mentioned some other projects and some other jobs. So what other than the North Georgia, what are we working on?
So with my clientele, I've been asked to do different event hostings. So I've created events for them. So I kind of started that. I don't do that 100% of the time, but I've done multiple events.
What sort of
I do
events?
shopping for them, like birthday events. When I say birthday event, I'm talking elaborate, like a casino night with, 500
Nice.
people there.
What's an
Right.
event?
Not just like 20, 20
Yeah.
birthday cake and a
Balloons.
clown. That's not. Yeah.
No clowns.
No, no.
I'm definitely
I've
afraid of
done
those.
that, everything.
Okay. Wow.
Estate sales. One of my customers, she
There you go,
branched
Jeremy.
her business into estate sales.
I love estate
And
sales.
so working those estate sales and helping her with those things. I've even helped my customers move. And that's
Wow.
that's huge. Yeah.
You know, a good way to kind of be a little bit more lateral with your business down the road, and of course we'll cut this out too, but you know, we have guys that partner up with other industries where, like, say, an electrician goes in and he digs a bunch of holes in the drywall to fix stuff, and a handyman will be like, well, when you do that, call me. I
Yeah.
think like junk, we've had some junk removal guys
Mm-hmm.
on the podcast that they're awesome guys. They're going in and they're people that want to get stuff out, but they would be, I think, ideal to talk with and say, hey, you know, I'd love to get a shot when you do this. You're gonna, because they need people to come and clean it.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't do that themselves. So
And of course, I need
that's
those
just an
referrals too.
aha moment that I had, but I think that might
Strategic
something.
partnerships
Yep,
would be
exactly.
good,
Referrals,
would
yes,
benefit you.
strategic partnerships are amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing. I had like a general contractor, a handyman, even guys who do lawn care. Because if someone trusts you with their home, they're going to trust the people you refer.
Yeah, I kind of have a village, have a network of people that you can go and bounce back and forth with.
Yep.
Like you said, lawn care guy, plumber, electrician, or whatever. You know, have a nice network, and that'll help you grow.
And also,
sure.
you get those referrals. One good thing about our software too, even with our website builder, is it's also a great way for people to leave reviews for you.
Yes.
And so many people have that focus about, you know, what kind of Google reviews they have or what. And some people don't take it seriously, but for the ones that do, that's really how they get a lot of business. It
It
surprised us when we talked to them. And with our website builder, we have a way of they can leave reviews either after they pay an invoice or whatever. But
Yep.
it's something that you can also focus on.
You should do that.
Reviews are
Absolutely.
everything.
Yeah.
Reviews are everything. Word of mouth and reviews are the best way to market your business.
It gets the job done.
It does.
That's what I do. I look at reviews for everything, from
Yes.
Amazon shopping to whatever, an
Yes.
electrician coming to my house or a gutter cleaner.
Yep.
What you do.
And even if it's a negative review, like with my store, like I had a negative review. It was not when I was there, but it was before. And you can turn those reviews around. Don't just because it's a negative review, it can be turned around. Don't
As long as you
take it
address it.
personal.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And some people know, like, a negative review could be somebody, you know, disgruntled ex-employee, you know, that if it's
Right.
one out of however X amount, 10, 20, 30,
That's right.
you know, go with the bulk of the reviews, the good reviews.
That's right. Yep. You can't please the world.
Not really.
We try.
No matter how much you try. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, Melinda, and it's just I love hearing these stories about those entrepreneurs that they're in a situation where it has to work because it has to work, and we love that you
Right.
found a way to get out there and get a business going and be successful with it. Before we sign off, well, I'd love to know what advice you have for some future aspiring entrepreneurs, either ones that are in a similar situation that you were when you were kind of forced to start a company, or they're just thinking about working for themselves. What would you tell them?
Just do it. What are you waiting on?
Perfect.
Why?
That's so
Why
simple.
not do it? I mean, nothing is stopping you but you. You have to get up, put your feet on the floor, put your clothes on, and go door to door and wash trash cans, or go door to door and walk a dog. You know, there's 1,000,010 ways to make money. And the number one thing I hate hearing people say, okay, well, this is a saturated. No, it's not saturated because you're not in it.
Yeah.
Fuck
Okay.
it.
There is an opening for everything. There's billions of people in the world, but only 5 of these companies exist, or 50 of these companies exist. They can't take on the world. So there's enough room for everybody. Just put your pants on and go do it.
And it's figuring out how to get those people that have never used a cleaning service and
Right.
getting them to come over to the dark side and start using companies to do that.
Yes.
It's a lot of them just, they don't want to do that.
And a lot of people think it's not affordable, or like me, whenever I started my company, I didn't know it was a thing. You know, I wasn't raised, to have a cleaner. We cleaned ourselves. So it's so affordable. It is. If you can go to Starbucks and you can buy a coffee literally 5 days a week, then you can afford to have your house cleaned. And why are you cleaning your home instead of spending time with your family?
I like it. Do you cover the Smyrna area?
I do everything. Yes. And actually, I have a pretty big client over there.
Do you do water
I don't know
remediation?
if I can name drop, so I don't want to name drop.
No.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Can you do water remediation for a small condo in Buckhead?
A water, my gosh. So
I'm
it's a
kidding,
joke
but
that
it's-
I know, but it's a joke that I'm a water sign because everywhere I go, water travels. It's so ridiculous. Like my
And
store,
never
I
mind.
have this one that, yeah, no, it'll probably flood worse.
Real quick, before we sign off, Melinda, I was wondering when your clients pay you, whether it's for the events or for the cleaning services, do they just mail you a check, or do they send a check, or is it they leave the check when you go? How do you process those payments?
Some people pay with check, not very many, because I do have people now, employees. Most people send Venmo. 90% of them send Venmo.
Really?
The rest of them is just cash.
And what do you prefer? I mean, what's easier for you?
Either one.
Okay.
Well, honestly, Venmo is easier for me because, I can transition that to the bank and then I can transition it to my employees because whenever you're taking in checks or cash that, it's got
It
to be
takes time,
handled
yeah.
through the bank. It's so much, so much.
Does anyone have checks? Jeremy, do you have checks?
I have like 3 in my drawer right here.
Yeah, I only write checks to the school for my daughter, and I don't even do that anymore because they take everything online. But I only pay my HOA dues because it
Well,
gives me a receipt.
That's
So,
it.
yeah.
Well, Melinda, this has been an awesome conversation, and we have just loved hearing about your story and your journey and where you're taking it and where you're going to end up, because you definitely have the work ethic and the passion, and we are just so thankful for you coming on to Swivl Sessions. Excuse me. For all of you in the Woodstock, North Georgia, basically all over the state of Georgia, apparently. From Melinda, and you want some cleaning services, or you have any events that you'd like to be done, make sure you contact Melinda Fields at North Georgia Cleaning Services, and you can find her information right here. Put your finger out, Melinda. Put your finger right there, yeah. And you'll be sure you're getting a true professional in the field, and she will definitely do a good job. You are a entrepreneurial spirit, and we really enjoyed talking with you.
Thanks, Melinda.
Thank you so much, Melinda, for being on the show.
Thanks for listening or watching. Swivl's field service software is everything you need to run your field service business for free. Till next time, check us out at swivl.tech. That's SWIVL.tech.